I think, sure, many people go to the movies and watch TV to avoid reality, and there's a lot of great content for that. But I think right now, and especially in the political climate that we have, we don't want to escape the reality we have. We want to dive into what got us into this reality and how can we fix it. So I think that there's always been an interest in social impact films in the last couple of years, especially with millennials. But right now, there's almost a demand for it. There's a demand for quality journalism. There's a demand for stories that represent diverse backgrounds. And so I think we don't have the luxury of escaping from this reality.
Can you tell us about the slogan of your company?
Sure. So the slogan of the company is "Films can change the world. We make sure they do." And the idea there is that there are incredible, powerful films out there, but if no one sees them, if no one knows what to do after them, they can't make the impact that they should have. And our job is to make sure they do.
Then how do you do that? What's the strategy to make sure that films change the world?
Okay, so our strategy for films to change the world is different on every film, but the things that stay the same are, is it a good story? Is it an entertaining project? Do you feel empathy for the characters? We always have to start with the story. And then the second thing is, who needs to see this film? And sometimes that could be everybody. It's about behavior change. We all have to understand one particular thing and to change our behavior. It could be legislative change, and if that's the case, maybe it's just two people sitting on Capitol Hill that have to see the film. So figuring out, who are the people that have the power to create that change and making sure they get it to them, or we get it to them strategically. And that's, again, it's different on every project, but who's the audience, how do we reach them, what's that messaging, and what's that call to action?
The how is very interesting. How do you reach them?
So it depends. So it depends on the project. I'll see if I can describe this without getting too wonky. But the way we reach the audiences that we need to for the film, it's different per film, but part of it is research. So figuring out, we do a lot of strategy work internally and map out who are the people and who do they listen to and how do we reach them. So that could be college campuses. If we want to reach college students because we think that they are just of voting age and they're the people that are most motivated on this issue, we make sure we get the film on every college campus. If it's legislative, we try and keep up good relationships with different offices on Capitol Hill so that we can then reach out and say, we have a film we think your senator, your congressperson needs to see. We really pride ourselves on our relationships with nonprofits and movement leaders. When we jump into a film project, we may work on it for 3 months or a year, but there are people who've been working on this issue for decades, and we can't do this work without them. So we often go to those groups and say, here's this film, here's what we think our strategy is, but you as the person who's been a leader in this organization, what do you think we should do, and how can this film help your work?
You are a woman, and
I am.
You're young. Has it ever occurred to you that maybe you don't have everything one needs to reach your goals?
1 second.
The light change?
Yeah.
Oh, funny. So I started Picture Motion when I was 27, and I think at 27 I had enough naivete and audacity to just think I could do anything. And I knew that there was a demand for this type of work. The industry was changing, filmmakers were self-distributing, they were self-marketing. There was a slowly increasing demand for social good content and an interest again in news. So I saw a gap and I wanted to fill it, and I believed I could. And I was lucky that had enough supportive people around me, and I have an incredible business partner and hired the right people that all believe the same thing.
Do you remember where you were when you learned that 13th and Lion were nominated?
I don't remember where exactly I was, but I think we were hoping so hard that we almost expected it. So when it happened, when they got nominated for the Oscar, we were like, okay, good. We expected that to happen. We needed it to happen. But I don't remember exactly where I was.
Can you tell me about each of these films and the impact they had on you?
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the things I love about my company in Picture Motion is that every film we work on has to have an impact on us if we're going to work on it. And I think when we saw Lion, we saw an early screening of it, we were just blown away. The acting is phenomenal. The cinematography is phenomenal. It's this incredible combination of true story and film cinema with incredible acting. And so we were just so moved, and we got to the end and we said, we can't just we can't leave anything on the table with this film. Like, what could we possibly do? And now I forgot the question.
No, that's perfect. What about 13?
And what was the question again? I forgot.
No problem. How did you feel? What impact had 13th on you?
So I don't even know how to say this one. 13th had an incredible, profound impact on me because it was the first time I'd seen something that had intellectually linked together all these little bits of history and kind of explained things to me in a way that I needed. I knew we had all these issues. We worked in criminal justice issues for years. We worked in different race issues for years. So you knew there was a problem, but we didn't know exactly how it had traced all the way back. And so even thinking that I knew so much about the industry and I knew so much about these issues, I saw 13th and was blown away, and I realized I really knew nothing. That film really explained the history to me and was able to, I think, once we understand our history and once we understand how everything is linked together, then we have a better chance of building a different tomorrow. And that film, I think, is going to be an incredible way for us to do that.
What achievement are you the most proud of with your company?
I think the achievement that I'm most proud of is that I get to have this company, and every day we get to work with incredible cinema and incredible organizations that are working to create impact. But I'm proud of the Lion campaign for raising over $200,000 and helping the 80,000 missing Indian kids. I'm proud of Fed Up, which is a film about sugar, because the American Diabetes Association cited that film and its campaign for having a greater impact on Americans' perception of sugar. I'm proud of Gender Revolution because we booked over 400 screenings in the last few weeks with LGBT groups and allied groups on campus. Like every film we work on, I'm incredibly proud of each one.
What's next? Where do you see your company 50 years from now?
Ooh, where do I see my company 50 years from now? I think I have to figure out what that next Snapchat is. Media is changing. Netflix was, a DVD mail-in company, and now it's one of the biggest media houses in the world. I think we have to look at what are the media distributors now, who are the media creators now, and figure out how we can continue to work with them. If people are getting their films from Netflix, we work with Netflix, and we want to get people to show up at Netflix. If people are getting their stories from Snapchat, we have to figure out how we work with Snapchat. So I think part of it in 50 years is figuring out what the media landscape is. But to be honest, in 50 years, ideally our company wouldn't exist because we wouldn't have any major social injustices, we wouldn't have any major issues. So we would just be able to do regular movie marketing. Did I miss anything? Did I miss any points? Okay.
It was really good.
We're perfect.
It was so good.
I love you.
It was such a
We're
fun
cutting.
process.
Oh.